break, and when we get back, we'll start to talk in earnest. Stay with us.
Giving back. Your Health 360 with Jacquelyne Adebija. Your Health 360 with Jacquelyne Adebija. Your Health 360, only on Invicta 98.9 FM with Jacquelyne Adebija. Your Health 360. Your Health 360. Invicta 98.9 FM.
All right. So once again, talking about natural medicine as complement to wholesome health. That's what we're talking about today. And once again, my guest is a naturopath, Peter OCHU. Mr. Peter, once again, you're welcome. Thank you for being with us in the studio. We appreciate your presence and time that you're giving to us today. Because time is not our friend, I'm going to want to just quickly want for you to take a look at some of the most common non-communicable diseases that we have today in Nigeria. Many people are battling with high blood pressure, diabetes, in many cases also arthritis, ulcer. These are some of the things that people are battling with. And to add to that, we have issues around mental health now, depression and all of that. Now, many times when people are ill, many times even presenting to the hospital becomes a problem, and many times this is for financial reasons. Now, this is not to say that this takes the place of orthodox medicine, but it is clear that for people like us that live in an environment like this, prevention is certainly better than cure. And when you find yourself in hospital, it's always good that you have natural medicine to back up orthodox medicine, so that those medicines even work better for you. So with this in view, talking about some of these very common ailments that we have in our climes, talk to us about some of the things that we do. It might be in behavior, it might be some spices that we overlook, or some herbs that are around us that we don't know could actually help and aid us in treating these conditions.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me here, Jacquelyne. Regarding these common, I'll call them common illnesses around, the good thing is that God has blessed us, and with quite a lot of things around us. And sometimes it's actually pathetic how ignorant we are about some of these things. There's this Hausa adage, is it, that says abunda kinima a shokoto ne ko sokoto na shokoto, right?
Shokoto.
Okay. So sometimes, you see, it's the irony of sometimes when you look for some things from a very far distance, not knowing that it's very close to you. See, nature is a complete package, and health is about harmony. Almost the major religions agree that we are both soul, body and spirit, and this is also the same in natural medicine. Natural medicine, you're seen as a whole. There's no single organ that is impaired, that is alone, suffering alone. there are what is called sympathetic organs that sympathize with each organ that is suffering. Sometimes it's like you hardly have a problem with the liver without actually having a problem with the eye, because they are sympathetic with one another. Now, in natural medicine, the way we look at it is sicknesses come as a result of transgression. Now, transgression is when you go against a natural law, when you do things you know ordinarily you're not supposed to do that would be against your health. So it's a case of disharmony generally, and it's also high time we begin to look at the fact of this wholesomeness, to know that, for instance, if you're asking someone a question, or maybe you're consulting with a client, and then the person maybe have issues like diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, among the questions you're going to ask, you also will be asking about the person's emotional state. You know, if I understand that a diabetic woman, for instance, just lost her husband and is actually grieving, I know that the liver is also affected somehow, because in natural medicine, the liver is an organ of emotion. That's
really?
That's the organ that actually traps emotion. So if you're grieving, if you're having a hard time like dealing with stress and all that, you know, the liver can actually be impaired seriously, to suffer. So we begin to tone the liver. We begin to give advice. So it's a wholesome thing. You will not say, okay, because you're treating this, so you won't treat that. No, it's equally important. If you don't tone up the liver, if you don't make the liver stronger, you will not be able to go through that crisis you're passing through. So we have a lot of things. We have things like turmeric, we have ginger, we have different spices like the black pepper, you know, and see, God in his infinite mercy and wisdom will still give us things that are like increases bioavailability, because these items need to work in a particular way. You know, I used to tell people that there's a difference between medicine and food, but there's also an aspect where food is medicine. You understand? But they are also different, because the major difference is actually in the dose, you understand, you're using, and then the you know, the way you're actually using these things. That's very important.
Please let me pause you there. Let's go on a commercial break. And when we get back, please don't lose your train of thought. All right. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We're talking about natural medicine as complement to wholesome health. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Invicta 98.9 FM.
98.9 FM with Jacquelyne Adebija.
Mama, sai kin gan yadda na wanke ban ɗakin nan, yawon ku sosai fa.
Tabbas zai iya wankuwa sosai a ido, amma idan ba da hypo toilet cleaner kika yi amfani ba wajen kariya, to ban ɗaki cike yake da ƙwayoyin cuta baja-baja.
Haka ne, gara ku yarje wa ƙwayoyin cuta, ku kare ban ɗakin ku kullum da hypo toilet cleaner.
Yanzu lokaci ne na garaɓasar samun nasarar Indomie. Muna ƙara cin Indomie, muna ƙara samun nasara.
Kamar yaya?
Ku tara emtin ledojin Indomie noodles guda 10 mai gram 70 ko mai gram 120 wato super pack. Ku kai su cibiyar karɓar garaɓasar nasarar Indomie domin samun damar cin kyautar paketin Indomie mai gram 70.
Yawancin Indomie, yawan damar cin nasara. Domin ƙarin bayani ku biyo mu a shafin Indomie Arewa Facebook ko ku tuntuɓi cibiyar garaɓasar mafi kusa da ku. Indomie, ingantaccen abinci.
Domin nasara.
Ku yi tunanin gida inda uwa ke da lokacin karanta wa ɗanta littafi, yayin da wani yaron kuma yake wasan gina gida a gefenta. Babu hantara, babu gaggawa, sai zunzurutun soyayya da ta ninku sakamakon samun lokaci. Wannan shine damar da tazarar haihuwa ke bayarwa, wato dama ta gani da sauraro. Kuma a irin wannan yanayi ne yara suke bunƙasa.
Ziyarci cibiyar lafiya mafi kusa domin farawa, ko a kira lambar waya 222 wannan sako ne daga ma'aikatar lafiya tare da tallafin gamayyar kungiyoyin Pronet da FEM.
Iyali, uba, 'ya'ya da ma'uwa.
Duk abin da kuke yi muna ganin ƙoƙarinku, cikin iyali kuna nuna so muna jin daɗin hakan. Power oil muna nan da ku mun tsaftace dukkanin digo akan 200 naira mu haɗu mu yaɗa soyayya. A duk sanda ka yarda da mu a gurin yi muna ganin ku. Shi ne ya sa muka yo na 200 sashe sai da ku. Kuna dalilin wannan tsari mai sauki, ku more wannan sashes akan 200 naira. Za ku samu Power Oil Mini Pack sachet akan 200 naira.
Power oil, power oil.
Ojiya ba shakata wajen more kira da naira 100 ka salamu kuɗin ka sai MTN da kuna samun matsala wurin kira dan ba ku da kati to ko sauki ya samu in ka sa naira 100 zaka samu naira 400 a layin MTN domin shiga tsarin ku sa naira 100 sannan ku danna tauraru 889 hash za ku iya amfani da shi cikin kwana ɗaya. Shakata da tsarin MTN G's Plus don more kira sharuɗa da ka'idoji sun shafi wannan.
Your Health 360, only on Invicta 98.9 FM with Jacquelyne Adebija. Invicta 98.9 FM. We care about your health. Stay with us. Stay victorious. Victorious health. Giving back.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back from that commercial timeout, still with naturopath Peter OCHU, and we're talking about natural medicine as complement to wholesome health. Right, so before we went on that break, you were saying,
Okay, good. So I was actually trying to talk about how nature actually helps us so much. I was talking about some of the herbs, and how nature also helps to even have, some of the differences we have between medicine and food. Now, for instance, if I'm taking tiger nut is a common delicacy among us.
which is
especially in
what
the
we
north.
call aya.
Aya
Okay.
in Hausa. Now, if I take aya as food, that is just as food. I just chew it, just buy aya in the market, wash and chew.
Right.
Fine. Now, aya has anti-nutrients, and you wonder why these anti-nutrients are there. They have different reasons, and different functions. And one of the functions is actually not to allow us overdose on it because they have medicinal properties. Now, if you want to use and unleash the medicinal property of tiger nut, it's required that you toast it on the fire like roasting a little. You understand? Yes. Now, what it does is it destroys the anti-nutrients, you understand, and allow these nutrients to be absorbed into our system. And we also have something like the black pepper I was going to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, the
So,
black pepper in
please, before you
Hausa-
go to black pepper, what then would we say aya could do when treated treated right? Yes,
Yes, when
given the
treated
right.
right, aya can do quite a lot of things. Aya is an anti-inflammatory milk. Let me even say milk because aya is also a major source of plant-based milk. So aya is a very good milk, and then it's anti-inflammatory in nature. Aya is good for women who are breastfeeding, who don't have much, milk.
Breast
in the
milk.
Aya is also an aphrodisiac somehow. That also increases the man's stamina. You
Right.
understand? And then aside that, aya can be very helpful even in some amino acids. It also contains some protein, and of course, like most milk will do. So aya also contains that. So aya is something that comes readily, when you want to both build up your immunity, increase your activity, you understand, level.
Sexual
Yeah,
activity,
both sexual
right.
activity too, and then it also comes in with little amounts of zinc, magnesium, and the rest of them. So it's actually something that is good. We actually introduce into our daily
Okay.
foods and all
Okay.
that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were talking about black pepper.
Yeah, so like black pepper, Hausa will call it musoro, but is a different Musoro actually from the one they use for kunu and the rest. But
Okay.
it's also, I think that's the main Hausa name. But mostly if you go to the market, you tell them it's Musoro, Soyayang Musoro. Maybe somehow they feel it's fried or whatever. They just try to describe it. Now, but this is actually has a lot of bioprine and then increases absorption of these nutrients into our body. So now these things you use, like for turmeric, for instance, turmeric is very good, very good. People have celebrated turmeric, especially in this part of the world. You know, turmeric is readily available for most people that have illnesses and all that. But it's also good to mention that turmeric is a blood thinner, and blood thinner also have their issues. Now, one of the issues is that because it's a blood thinner, you cannot give turmeric to someone who has hypertension, who has low blood pressure. You know, because of course it will further thin the blood, and then you have issue. You don't give turmeric to someone who is already billed for surgery, because the blood clotting factor can also be weakened by the turmeric blood thinning effect. So you give turmeric to someone, of course, who needs to, you know, bring down blood pressure. You give turmeric to someone who needs a lot of antioxidants, you understand, to work in the system. So now, but one thing about turmeric, still in the wisdom of God, you now wonder why turmeric is not fully absorbed into the body. If turmeric is readily absorbed into the body, most people would have had issues who were taking turmeric, you know, anyhow, you know, without consulting. Natural medicine needs to be consulted for. You know, but we take it for granted because it's natural medicine. Natural medicine also have its own, you know, has its own issues. You understand? Water has issue. We talk about water intoxication, so that tells you that nothing is 100% safe. But of course,
Too much of everything is bad.
Yes, so
Right.
it's about moderation, and it's also about knowing exactly what you're using and in combination with what. So we find out that the problem is actually that we have lots of natural medicine practitioners that are not trained. If they are trained, everybody will admire natural medicine, because you'll now be able to know that every herb has its own toxicity level. You know that this one can be toxic at a particular level. So once you're able to watch them, but the good thing is that they are less toxic than their chemical counterparts. Of course, everybody agrees with that, because the nature answers to nature. They quite understand our makeup and all that.
No, I mean, just to jump in here, the moment I heard that the King of England, talking about King Charles, formerly Prince Charles, in his cancer care, it was said out there, he put it out there that his cancer care would be in
Natural
conjunction
medicine, okay.
with natural medicine. I said, this man must be, onto something for him to be able to come out and say, my cancer care is going to be in conjunction with natural medicine. So, I mean, I think we have passed that point where people doubt whether or not this makes sense, or this is just another field for charlatans. But like you said, I think there needs to be more done about people who claim to be natural medicine practitioners. People need to be called up to, for them to prove that they have actually studied this thing and are, professionals. They are able to consult. People are able to come consult with them on, natural health issues. Yes. Please go ahead. So you were saying something about black pepper and turmeric, their interaction.
Yes. Now, what it does is the black pepper actually opens up the system. It's actually bioavailability. It increases bioavailability. Now, to about 2,000%. It can be that high. That some research work will show you that level. So what it means is, for the people that were just taking turmeric because everybody said turmeric is good, and among them, of course, will be people who may have high blood pressure. So the reason why you don't see them slumping down is because it was not readily bioavailable. You understand? So if it was just open, that turmeric would just absorb, most of them would have serious issues, because they could just faint, they could just lose energy and lose strength, because the blood pressure will actually go very low.
Very low.
Yes, but you see, God in his wisdom will not allow that. So that if it's not, you need to use something to spice it up. You need something to push it further. You understand? So that's where knowledge comes in, to know that, okay, you can use this to actually push this up. So that is it. So those things work very well. And it's just like, for instance, when you're talking about people, I've not used flagyl. Flagyl is a common household product. In my family, I have kids too. We've not used flagyl for almost 10 years now, we've not seen flagyl in my house, even with having to care for little ones. Now, it's because most of the time, I'm talking about flagyl in relation to like you having like running stomach, you know, like it's always readily
It's
there.
even
just
wrong,
take and
really, to just jump and go and take drugs simply because you know that, okay, when I had this problem, they use this.
No,
yes.
It's not like that. Like in natural medicine, especially in my own field, in naturopathic medicine, we believe that, you know, medicine is individualistic, it's actually personalized. I cannot come on air now with my training to say, if you have this problem, use this, use this. It's more than that. It's beyond that. You need to actually consult with experts and I'll say, okay, fine. We spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on consultation. I did a consultation this morning. We started around 7 to almost 8:39. You know, but at the end of the day, the woman was happy. She was like smiling. She said, I now believe I'll be fine. Now, because the issue is that you were able to touch on so many things. Touch on her emotional level. You're talking to a woman who lost her husband and she's always telling you, when my husband was there, I actually missed him, repeating it. You know that this woman might have a problem with her liver. When we say liver, that's in natural medicine, we're talking about, you know, liver qi deficiency. You know, she's beginning to have issue with her vitality because that means she's having a traumatic experience. It's difficult to forget this man that died.
So what you're saying to me, Mr. Peter, is most of us will have that liver chi issue because the matters in Nigeria are something else. Let's go on another commercial break, and when we get back, we'll continue from this place. Let's go on this break. Please stay with us. You were talking about natural medicine as complement to wholesome health. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
OneXBet, where sports come alive. Visit the site or app and join the game on promo. Get a chance to win an iPhone 16, cash prizes up to 750,000 naira, and a weekly free bet of up to 20%. More bets mean more tickets and rewards. Enter the promo code Nigeria on and boost your game to the max. OneXBet, game on, together in the game. Bet responsibly. 18 plus. T's and C's apply.
Yanzu lokaci ne na garabasar samun nasarar Indomie. Muna ƙara cin Indomie, muna ƙara samun nasara.
Kamar yaya?
Ku tara emtin ledojin Indomie noodles guda 10 mai gram 70 ko mai gram 120 wato super pack. Ku kai su cibiyar karɓar garabasar nasarar Indomie domin samun damar cin kyautar paketin Indomie mai gram 70.
Yawancin Indomie, yawan damar cin nasara. Domin ƙarin bayani ku biyo mu a shafin Indomie Arewa Facebook ko ku tuntuɓi cibiyar garabasar mafi kusa da ku. Indomie, ingantaccen abinci.
Domin nasara.
Ojiyabba shakata wajen more kira da naira 100 ka salamu kuɗin ka sai MTN da kuna samun matsala wurin kira dan ba ku da kati to sauki ya samu in ka sa naira 100 zaka samu naira 400 a layin MTN domin shiga tsarin ku sa naira 100 sannan ku danna tauraru 889 hash za ku iya amfani da shi cikin kwana ɗaya. Shakata da tsarin MTN G's Plus don more kira. Sharuɗa da ka'idoji sun shafi wannan.
Ki huta mama, yanzu na zan wanke maki fararen kayan nan naki.
To, amma ba wanke su kawai zaki ba. Ki tabbatar kin yi amfani da hypo domin yana cire duk wani takaddarin tabo yana kuma sa fararen kayana su ƙara haske kalkal.
Haka ne, kada ku amince da tabo, ku tabbatar farinku ya ƙara haske kalkal.
Duk abin da kuke yi muna ganin ƙoƙarinku cikin iyali kuna nuna so muna jin daɗin hakan. Power oil muna nan da ku mun tsaftace dukkanin ɗigo akan 200 naira mu haɗu mu yaɗa soyayya. A duk sanda ka yarda da mu a gurin yi muna ganin ku shi ne sa muka yi na 200 sashe sai da ku. Kuna dalilin wannan tsari mai sauki ku more wannan sashes akan 200 naira. Za ku samu Power Oil Mini Pack sachets akan 200 naira.
Power Oil, Power Oil.
Oh yeah now, time to run your money correct. Download Bill Station for iPhone and Android, no dolly, or waka go to billstation.com, sharp. Bills, transfer, everything dey one place.
Make you get rewarded instanta when you use the referral code BISAN. When you download the Bill Station app, make you enjoy exclusive bonuses plus cash prizes wey fit reach up to 5K. No dolly, make you download now.
Bill Station, money no go stress you again.
Sale jajaye, amma gaskiyar magana ita ce addininmu yana karfafa kula da lafiyar uwa da tarbiyyar yara cikin nutsuwa da jin kai. Ai tun da yin tazara haihuwa yana taimakawa mace ta warke da kyau, lafiyar jikinta ta dawo sosai bayan haihuwar da ta yi a baya har ta samu damar kulawa da yaranta cikin kwanciyar hankali, to wannan ba haramun bane, illa dai wannan wata hikima ce mai alfanu. Kuma ba laifi bane idan mace ta nemi mafita. Addini baya son wahalar da kai, don haka kula da lafiyarki da tsara makomar iyalinki ibada ce.
Ziyarci cibiyar lafiya mafi kusa domin farawa ko a kira lambar waya 222 wannan saƙo ne daga ma'aikatar lafiya tare da tallafin gamayyar ƙungiyoyin Pronet da FEM.
Manufar da kyautuwar iyali uba 'ya'ya da ma uwa.
Kalli wani kunshi, wannan shi nake kira gida ya cika.
Mana, aini ce na cika.
Ho ho ho. Wane ne yake maganar ki? Ni ina maganar paketin madarar Peak Yogurt wanda yake a hannunki ne.
Aha! Muna gabatar da lita ɗaya na paketin madarar Peak Yogurt, wato Peak Yogurt Drink 1 liter Full House Pack. Tare da tsarin armashi da ke kunshe cikin tatacciyar madarar saniya. A rarrabawa mutanen gida kowa ji daɗi, tare da samun moriyan isasshen vitamin da yake ciki.
Peak, reach for your peak.
To jama'a, bismillah, a tattaru. Yawa, ku bar lambar mutum ɗaya daga cikinku in tura muku kuɗin ku.
A'a, to fa, oga, me yasa?
Sai in ta biyan ƙananan caje-caje don na tura kuɗi? To, wa ina ayya ba haka?
To kai oga, ai Smart Cash masu kaifin basira ke amfani da.
Smart me?
Smart Cash, guda ka gani, ko sai ba sa caja.
Kai, haka take ba.
A ji daɗin yin kowane irin ciniki kyauta babu caji tare da Smart Cash. Ko da ko tura kuɗi ne, biyan kuɗi ko sayan katin waya. Babu wani dogon labari, aiki ne tsantsa da cikawa. Zazzage manhajar Smart Cash ko ka danna *939# a yau. Smart Cash daga Airtel.
Your Health 360.
Welcome back from that commercial timeout, still with the naturopath Peter OCHU, and we're talking about natural medicine as a complement for wholesome health. Yes, moving on quickly because I'd like to open up the phone lines so that people can talk to you. Let's talk about one popular food that we have in our environment, even though you haven't touched on arthritis, but I believe when people call, maybe that will come up. But let's talk about sugar as one of the foods that, you know, we use in our environment. We put it in our food. We want to take pap, we want to take gari, you know, and then we also know that they're natural sugars, whether especially in foods that are majorly carbohydrate. And then, of course, for fruits, we have a lot of natural sugars. Talk to us about sugar and the effect or impact it has on our health. There was a time people said sugar was not responsible or is not responsible for things like diabetes. It's something completely different. Even genetics is involved, but would like to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, actually, this is not entirely my opinion. It's the opinion of the natural medicine world. The way we look at it actually is that sugar is a serious culprit when it comes to most of these modern day problems. Now, why is it a culprit? It's a culprit because it's an inflammatory substance. Now, simple experiments will show you what happens when you take sugar and what happens to the person who is diabetic who also takes in sugar. You see the time it takes for a sugar spike to occur. Now, we are also looking at it side by side, natural sugar, you know, and this other white sugar. Now, when we talk about sugar, people generally assume that we're just talking about the white sugar that we all know about. Now, no, sugar is not, what is important is not the name sugar. What is important is what they end up to. You know, they end up to glucose. They just, it's glucose. And then if you take honey, honey is glucose. If you take sugar cane, it's glucose. If you take dates, it's glucose. If you take the white sugar, it's glucose. If you take the so-called minerals, generally, or whether the other higher ones, energy drinks and the rest of them, glucose. Now, but you see, this thing plays a game on us and what we know. Now, one thing is, if you're taking these things, you should know that the lighter, let me use a common word, the lighter this is, the easier it filters down into our bloodstream. Now, I used to give an instance with, like, let's say when you're taking ordinary white sugar, is more of a single molecular substance. What it means is that you just have the glucose majorly, you understand, and then it just goes straight into your bloodstream. Now, if you look at the chemistry, you see that the molecules is just 1, 2 molecules for most of these sugars. Now, but for these other ones, they have other dimensions. They have fiber added to it. They have other things that goes with it, like dates. Date is very good because it has iron. The white sugar does not have iron. Date has fiber. The other sugar does not have fiber. So God adores these things. They are well adorned with other, components, that gives a check and balance and balances the entire system. Life is about balance, actually. Life is about balance. In everything you do, balance is key. Like just a small deviation, like people who drink a lot of water, for instance. These days, people go with, I drink water, I drink water. Now, I was talking about natural medicine as being designed for you as a person, tailored for you. I will not say that when that man was sick, this was what he was giving. Now that I'm sick, that's what I'm going to take. No, it all depends on so many factors, underlying issues and all that. Now, I had a patient that I was trying to just pick the skin. I couldn't pick the skin. And the test is showing that this patient has heart failure already. There are fluids trapped in the lungs and all that. So what it tells you, it gives you a picture of the fact that this woman is overloaded with water. When I was asking her questions, I discovered that she takes 1 bag of sachet water a day. 1 bag of sachet water. 1 bag. And she said, and I was asking her, but why are you taking this much water? She said the doctor told her to take water. I said, no, you are wrong this time because I'm not sure a medical doctor will tell you to take this amount of water. Probably he told you to take enough water. If you're not clear with it, ask him, how much water do you want me to take? One thing with naturopaths is that we don't come out to criticize orthodox medicine and the rest of them. They have played their part and they are doing very well. We're only trying to bring in, advocate for working together. Advocate to say that these are complementary medicines. There's no one that is above the other. It's complementary. Where this one stops, this one begins. So the issue is, I say, no, the doctor is not wrong this time, but you're supposed to clarify if it's not clear to you.
Right.
And you're taking once. She buys a bag of water, takes it from the sachet, and makes sure that she finishes that bag a day. She was so filled with water that I said I could not pick her skin. You pick a skin and the thing comes and goes back.
Yes.
I couldn't pick. It was like a bottle, my fingers would just slip through. So we have wrong informations out there, a lot of them that people, are actually suffering from. And it's flooding her. Water intoxication is real. Because she takes so much water, she pees so much, And when you pee so much like this, it's not just urine that is, let's say urea also that is going out. Sodium is going out. Potassium is going out. So many other things are going out from your system because it's the entire house is overflooded. So you have even your buckets, everything just being thrown out like that. So that's how it is. So if you look at it generally as it is, you now understand that people need to, come to terms with these things and understand that nature is tailored for individuals. That's the basic thing. Nature is tailored to individuals, and when you follow it that way, it will be a lot easier, you understand, for us to go. So the sugar thing, don't because it's natural sugar, you now overdose. Now, the idea is this: if I take like 10 cubes of sugar now and have a particular effect, what the body is checking is not the type of sugar you're taking. It's the calories that is coming with the sugar. It's how much glucose. They all end up as glucose. Whether it's fructose, whether it's what. Finally, they end up somewhere. So the body does not know that this is honey. Does not know that this is what the body is waiting for. Is what amount of this gets to me. So if the fiber delays the natural sugar, which is the main difference, that the thing like just drips in, drop, is different from something that is flowing. The white sugar is seen as something that is flowing into your bloodstream.
It just goes straight, and very fast.
You understand, very fast.
Right.
While these other ones, because of the fiber and all that and other components, they slowly come in. And they have other components too that also regulate, what this glucose does in the body. So that's the major thing. So the point is, people should go back and do more of natural sugar. And while they are doing the natural sugar, moderation is key. Moderation is key. You come to points where a medical practitioner will tell you not to take honey, and you begin to wonder, is it not natural? Yeah, it's natural, but you have eaten your cake. You may not have it. So the little of those ones that will still come in might not still be good for you. These things are not things that we debate or so. Take it now. You see the effect. Give it a few minutes. Check your blood sugar. You see whether it's going up or coming down. So I think that's it about the sugar.
Is there a difference between brown and white sugar?
Yeah, the difference sometimes, unfortunately, might just be the color. That is one. But actually, the word brown sugar is actually supposed to come from other natural sources of sugar. It can be dates. It can be from this thing, I've forgotten the name now, that comes from the end product of sugarcane.
Molasses.
Molasses, you
Right.
understand? They can also come like that. But the question these days is, it depends. You should be sure of the source of these things and really know that this is actually brown sugar. But even if it is brown sugar, you still discover that most of those brown sugar, checking the calorie, is still very important.
There was something when you talked about the source. My mind just went back to a conversation I had with you some days back, when you said to me, you need, even your chicken, your meat, you need to know the source.
Sure.
Because so many times, part of the reason why we're seeing the spike in things like cancer is because some of these fattening pills, some of these medicines that they give these animals to fatten them up has a withdrawal period. Please just say something quickly before I open up the phone lines, because I think this is a very, very important thing. I hope our vet doctors are listening. We need more stringent measures, or a system that is able to check all these chickens in the market. Some of them are ill and they just bring them to the market. They've given them so many drugs and they just think this is the best thing to do. Sell it off, let it be killed and eaten. But what about the effect that those drugs that is already in the flesh of that animal, what about the effects it's having on humans?
Yeah, you see, that is very true. And if you look at it, the problem we have most of the time is about knowledge, and then we ignore so many things to our own risk. Now, the truth about those things is, you see, most of the time, though we blame technology and a lot of things like, most of the foods that are being imported, some people have issues with genetically modified objects, some have issue with different things. But the good thing about this one is we are just not listening. We are not just watching, because most of these manufacturers actually spell out exactly what they are doing and how you will be safe with it, but we don't bother about them. Now, like most of those medications, we're talking about high blood pressure and the rest. We know that some of them come with very grave side effects. Some of the orthodox medications, might have to do something against the impotence, can bring impotence. Some of them can even bring, you begin to have, fluid retentions and all that, edema and the rest of them in different parts of the body. Now, the question is, the person that manufactured these drugs did not manufacture it to give you edema, did not manufacture it to make you have those things. But the issue is that on the leaflet of the same drug, the side effects are well spelled out. The problem is that who is using it? The person using it is not reading, is not watching. Now, some of these things are not meant to be life dependent. Some of them are meant for you to use them for a time, and you're supposed to report to your doctor when you begin to feel those side effects.
Right.
Because you might feel a side effect and another person is not having the same side effect. So the individual difference is something. There's hardly a side effect that 100% of the population will go through. So but when you communicate with your doctor, say, this is what I'm feeling, he might say, okay, stop it. You understand? And I change another thing for you. But ultimately, the thing is, when you are using this, it's like, for instance, like the chicken thing you talked about.
Yes.
A lot of cancer cases, we are having a lot of these cases coming up. And most of the time is the things that we eat through our mouth or put on our skin. We use a lot of skincare products that we don't know where some of the preservatives and some of the chemicals are coming from. And whatever you cannot put in your mouth, you should not put on your skin, because the air pores on the skin are alive. They are also eating. They absorb it through. If you put things like castor oil on the skin and it's anti-inflammatory and does a lot of therapeutic, effects on your body, you discover that you did not drink it most of the time. You just applied it on your skin. And then it works. I had seen a lot of, we call it transdermal, products that you just put on your skin, and then before you know it, it's in your bloodstream. You know, so you are careful about what you put on your skin, you know. And then concerning the chickens, for instance, I don't buy agri chicken. We don't use it in the house. If I come out, maybe because I visited you, gave me that one is just by the way. How many times will I keep visiting you and eating chicken? So, so that's the thing. So, and the reason is because of this chemicals that we give to them. Now, these drugs are meant for these chickens, but the manufacturer, if you turn the back of the sachet, they wrote withdrawal period. Now, what it means is some of them will carry 7 days withdrawal period, some 2 weeks, some 3 weeks. What the manufacturer is saying is this particular antibiotic you're giving to the chicken is good for the chicken, it's not good for humans. Now, if you want to eat this chicken, if the withdrawal period you see behind it is 7 days, what they say is that wait 7 days from the last time this
that medicine was administered.
You know, leave 7 days before you use it again. Before you eat the chicken, you get it. But what happens? What we see most of the time is that most of these birds that are brought to the market is because most of them are dying. Some are sick. It's very few that are just strong because it have gotten to your time, and you're giving them these antibiotics because you don't want them to be sick. You know how they die. You wake up the next morning, 10 is down, 20 is down. So you now bring the other ones. It's like saying, Malam Wani, come and carry these things. So they are dying. But it just came out from taking that medication. You are not respecting the 7 days, 14 days, or 3 weeks. You understand? Tomato, but then you slaughter it and eat. So what happens is that you take in these drugs because they have not withdrawn from the system of the bird. And then we have all manner of sicknesses, all manner of cancers. The cases are increasing and all that. You know, so we need to check these things. We need to understand and read leaflets. You understand? And know where these things are coming from and be able to help our systems.
In fact, just recently, growing up, they would tell you there are pulse points on your body.
Oh, sure.
That's where you should apply perfume so that as your pulse is pulsing, the perfume will be spreading. Not until recently did I realize that you never spray perfume on your skin directly. Spray it on your clothes if you must, but do not spray it on your skin, because what you're doing is introducing those chemicals straight into your skin. It just occurred to me when you were talking about our pores being alive and also eating right. All right, so I forgot to mention that we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. Time for us to get one or two questions before we go today. And the numbers are the same. They're 081 40989 and 07087 989. Please step away from your radio and keep your questions short and straight to the point so that we can take more than the two. I'm saying. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You're
good
welcome.
Evening, presenter. Thank you very much for your nutrition that you brought.
Thank you.
So, it's about this water.
Please speak up.
That you should be taking water so that you can washing the drugs and the liver will not be affected. Because this water, I need to take water because I am. And my sugar is 6.1. What will I do so that it will not get the liver?
Unfortunately, this line is not too clear, but I don't know whether you heard her very well.
She was talking about the liver.
She talked about her sugar level being high. Are you still there?
Yes, it's 6.1. So it's further affecting my eye. I don't, because of the glaucoma, I don't want it to be getting high. And this water, my doctor said I should be taking water so that it will be washing the BP drugs down. And now you are saying too much of water is not good. So I don't know.
But did your doctor tell you?
Because of the potential and the sodium in the drugs at times we used to take. So because I used to take a lot of water. So this one that your nutritionist is saying, please can you put more light on that? Please?
How much water do you take? Hello? Unfortunately.
Hello?
Yeah, how much water do you take? Is it that you take too much?
I take too much because of the BP drugs.
Okay, so like how do you take a bag too? A bag of pure water?
No, I don't. It's not. It's only jerry. I take like cup anytime I'm thirsty. I take it so that I will be urinating and neutralizing the drug so that the drug will not affect my kidney or my liver. That is what the doctor said.
we'll take one more call, and then I'll come back to you in house. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Yes, you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Jacquelyne. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
This is Clement Colors. I'm calling you from the most colorful part of Cardinal State.
Welcome, Clement.
Here.
All right.
Even though the doctor speaks like Jeffrey, but that's good anyway.
Okay.
He has really spoken well, and I really love what he said. But there's this particular question I want to ask because it's very common, most especially from we guys that are into sports. You understand? They say that whenever you take, even if you consume this bottle drink, these energy drinks, or you take any sugar, the level of sugar you take, you just go burn it in the field because of the sweat. We always sweat, so we feel like we can take any quantity of sugar we want. So is it really proper, or what should be the ratio of the sugar we should take to the ratio of the exercise? And then we were talking about this natural medicine and whatever, but we didn't even talk about its relationship with exercise entirely, because even if you should go to the hospital, the doctor will say, okay, do this, but try and exercise. Like those that have diabetes, they will say, okay, stop eating so things, but exercise regularly and do other stuff. So,
all right.
Doctor, you need to talk about this. Thank you. Remain colorful.
And thank you so much, Clement. We do not have much time anymore. Let me just come back to you. I'm sure you heard the other woman, the person on BP drugs and the drinking of water, the correlation between that. And Clement Colors, who is asking about, they say people who play sports do not really need to watch the sugar because they burn it all up on the field. How true is that?
Okay, let me start with the woman. And about the woman, the thing is the issue of drinking water. I think as practitioners, either in the medical world or in the natural medicine world, it's still good that we are a little specific, because there's a way to check the person's level of dehydration. You understand? There are a lot of tests to run and be able to give somebody an exact, you understand, counsel on how much water that the person needs. If you just leave it open to people to drink water, they will drown themselves. And we all know this. Scientifically, this is a fact that too much water, that water has water intoxication and all that. And the thing is, for that person, if the person was told to drink water so that it will not have effect on the kidney and also, I don't think so too, because these things go straight into the bloodstream. This water is not going into the blood. It will only can even give you more blood volume, because blood is about, the plasma is there. Water is also part of the blood and all that, so it can only increase the water volume, and the blood volume. And then at the end of the day, it's not actually removing whatever you think it's removing, because if this thing have effect, it's because of toxicity. And water is not the only thing that is used to remove toxicity from the body. And how much does even water do in removing toxicity? So the important thing is you should know, to follow these rules. I don't want to talk much about it because I'm not a medical doctor per se. So I'm a naturopath. I'll prefer to talk about these things from the natural point of view. That is my domain, you understand? So I can talk with more authority there. So we will not tell you that, but we see that these people keep coming back also. They're having issues. So what I'm saying is that the doctor that says you should drink enough water is correct, but how much water is the issue? So the doctor should begin to also begin to tell their clients exactly how much water an individual client needs to take, because they are different people. This one might take enough water, fine. And this one, if somebody that's already having edema and the rest of them begins to take so much water like that, that's a problem. You get
huge problem.
A very huge problem. So that is the thing. So I think it's also to know about that, the effects. It's not just about the liver. Some might not even affect the liver, but they also affect other parts of the body. But if your doctor is able to tell you exactly what you need to do, tell you that this drug I'm giving you, these are the side effects, and you know it head on, that this is a side effect of the drugs. What it means simply is this. When you're now taking this drug and begin to have these side effects, you will now know that it's because of the drug I'm taking. So either you go back to your doctor to say, can we review this? It's actually having a heavy toll on me. It's reducing my mobility, reducing this and all that. The doctor can. The doctor does not know how the impact that drug is having on you, because different people have different responses to these drugs. Now, when that is done, the doctor will be able to advise you. But if not, you will be taking a drug that is giving a side effect. Maybe it's erectile dysfunction most of the time with most of the hypertensive drugs and all that. Now, you're having erectile dysfunction without knowing is the side effect of the drug you're taking. You now go looking for other herbs, other drugs and all that to treat erectile dysfunction. Now, bringing more problem to your system because the culprit is right in your drawers, in your drug cabinet. You get that? So it's good you now go back to your doctor to complain that this is what I'm having from this. And the doctor will be able to. Doctors are learned gentlemen. He will be able to educate you well on how to use those drugs. But coming on our domain, there are so many foods, lifestyle modifications that can straighten you up. You understand? If you choose, because this thing is a choice, you can choose to treat yourself through medical stuff. You can decide to treat yourself through natural means. We have that liberty in this country and most world over. So if you chose to go the natural way, then there are a lot of herbs. There are a lot of food, adjustments, diet adjustments, and also this issue of lifestyle modifications that can help you. For instance, you're suffering from diabetes and you know that is a metabolic problem. And then you are taking so much soda, minerals, and the rest of them. You know that you're not doing well. You're not bothered about the change of diets. You're eating, carbohydrates. Now, there's nothing wrong with carbohydrates. That's why I say it's individualistic. If I check you and know that, okay, you need this amount of carbohydrate, I can give you the calorie that you're supposed to take per day. I will not just say, because you have this, don't take carbohydrate. You need energy, for God's sake. You need the carbohydrate. But I should be able to tell you how to regulate this and tell you, okay, if you need this carbohydrate, take compound carbohydrates. Let it be that this carbohydrate is a complex one. A complex carbohydrate, that most of them are natural carbohydrates. They have other components, you understand, that will be able to manage your system well. I will not tell you to go and start taking things like some noodles, you understand, like that I know that are not complex carbohydrates. I know that these are highly refined carbohydrates, and your body will find it difficult digesting these things, and the workload increases, inflammation increases, and you have a lot of other issues. So our lifestyle matters so much. They're talking about the second gentleman about was talking about diabetes, right?
No. How to? Well, he was talking. We've run out of time, so quickly, just like in 30 seconds, talking about how to eject sugar that they ingest. Now they have been used to taking those drinks because they feel that as sportsmen they are able to burn it quickly.
Understand.
So is it a wrong idea?
Okay, now the best way to remove something is to stop taking a new one. If you stop taking a new one, it's just like you're taking oxygen, carbon dioxide is going out. When you don't take more oxygen, you have more of the other carbon dioxide. It's the more oxygen you take that expels the other one. So when you stop taking these things and taking water instead, and more natural drinks like Zobo drink, like your,
we've run out of time. So here's what I know. A lot of the phones are ringing and all of that. So this is what we can do, because on your Health 360, we're very, very supportive of whatever is going to help us. So can you please go on the YouTube post or the Facebook, that is you now, Mr. Ochu, and dwell there for a while today and see if you can converse with people. So you can actually go on our Facebook page and go there. He will be watching for comments and he will also be responding over there, because right now we've run out of time and we have to go. I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Peter Ochu, for being here. A naturopath. I know that you're doing great things too. So thank you for being here and also coming to educate us as best as you can. So once again, for those who are listening and want this conversation to continue, he will be on our Facebook page for the post for today, the live stream, and you guys can continue the conversation there. So until next week, when we hope to come your way on Your Health 360, please remember that it is important that we go more proactive towards good health. And being proactive towards good health means eating natural foods. Let's let go of junk foods. Let's start to teach our children less of sugar, but more of good and wholesome food. Let us stop refining so much. These are some of the things, and of course, let's learn to exercise. Until next week, remain healthy and be victorious.
daɗin abincin onga don babban dandano da ƙamshi.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Yanzu lokaci ne na garabasar samun nasarar Indomie. Muna ƙara cin Indomie, muna ƙara samun nasara.
Kamar yaya?
Ku tara emtin ledojin Indomie noodles guda 10 mai gram 70 ko mai gram 120 wato super pack. Ku kai su cibiyar karɓar garabasar nasarar Indomie domin samun damar cin kyautar paketin Indomie mai gram 70.
Yawancin Indomie, yawan damar cin nasara. Domin ƙarin bayani ku biyo mu a shafin Indomie Arewa Facebook ko ku tuntuɓi cibiyar garabasar mafi kusa da ku. Indomie, ingantaccen abinci.
Domin nasara.
Country hard, now because you never hear correct music. Shake body, forget say you never pay your landlord rent. Any plans where you they get for PM. My brother, make it cancel. No wait, me person tell you talk say Makosa Lingua either drop on top Invicta 98.9 FM by 9 with MC J to the Blinks.
Trop intelligent pour être ici et trop con pour être ailleurs. Patrick Pan